Kendrick Lamar just watched Drake drop 3 albums in one night, take over the CN Tower in Toronto like a supervillain, and spend damn near every single track on ICEMAN talking about him. The hype jokes, the streaming numbers, the conscious rap image, the Compton turkey giveaways, the bot farms, all of it, all pointed directly at K-Dot's chest. And Kendrick ain't said a word yet. Not one post, not one story, not one cryptic lyric dropped at midnight, nothing. Absolute silence. And fam, that silence is the loudest thing in hip-hop right now. Because the last time Drake came this hard, and Kendrick went quiet. What came back rearranged the entire culture. The man sat back, let Drake and Cole do all the talking, and then dropped Euphoria, Meet the Grams, and Not Like Us back to back, and turned Aubrey Graham from the biggest rapper alive into the most roasted man in the music industry. So when I tell you the streets are watching every single move right now, y'all need to understand exactly what we're standing in front of. Drake dropped ICEMAN on May 15th, 2026. He had been building to this moment for 2 whole years. 2 years of lawsuits getting dismissed, 2 years of watching Kendrick win 5 Grammys for a diss track about him. 2 years of watching Kendrick perform Not Like Us at the Super Bowl halftime show in front of 120 million people, while the crowd screamed certified pedophile so loud the whole stadium shook. 2 years of sitting in silence while his legacy got discussed in past tense. So when Drake finally came back out, everybody thought finally, this is the one. This is where Drake shows up and shows out and reminds the world why he ran this game for 15 years. And then the album dropped, and Drake spent the whole project still talking about Kendrick. And that right there tells you everything you need to know about where this beef actually stands. So today we are breaking all of it down. Every bar Drake threw on ICEMAN that was aimed at K-Dot, every angle he came from, and exactly what Kendrick's response to this whole thing actually looks like. Because trust me fam, the response already happened. Y'all just didn't recognize it. Let me break it down for you. To understand why ICEMAN hits different, you gotta go all the way back. Not 2024, we going back to 2011 fam. That's when Drake and Kendrick were actually brothers in this thing. Kendrick Lamar, Compton kid, fresh off the XXL freshman list. Nobody outside of the West really knew who he was yet. Hopped on Drake's Take Care album in 2011 for a track called Buried Alive Interlude. Not a feature where he's rapping over a beat alongside Drake, a full interlude by himself on Drake's biggest album at the time. That's how much love was in the building. Drake was already a chart-topping superstar. Kendrick was the promising young homie from the West he was putting people on to. But 2 years after that, everything was love. These were peers. 2 of the most talented guys in their generation moving in parallel, building their lanes. But in 2013, and this is the root of everything, no cap, Kendrick Lamar dropped a verse on Big Sean's Control that changed the whole conversation. He named Drake specifically as one of the rappers he was coming for lyrically. Not because of beef, not because of personal drama, because Kendrick has always been wired differently. He raps like he's trying to win something permanent. He said what he said and called it friendly competition. Drake didn't take it that way. Not entirely. You could feel the temperature shift in the energy between them from that point forward. For the next decade, every time somebody asked Drake about Kendrick, he'd say everything was cool. But anytime you really looked at the lyrics, the subliminals were always there. The tension was always simmering just underneath. Then 2023 happened. J. Cole and Drake dropped First Person Shooter, and Cole did something that in hindsight lit the longest fuse in hip-hop history. He called Drake, himself, and Kendrick Lamar the big 3 of modern rap. 3 kings, equal footing, sharing the throne. That's where Kendrick drew the line in the sand. March 2024, Kendrick Lamar jumps on Future and Metro Boomin's joint project with a record called Like That. And on that record, K-Dot looks directly at the camera and says, "Motherfuck the big 3, it's just big me." Boom, the match was lit. But here's the real tea: everybody thought Kendrick was just being competitive, just talking his talk. What nobody understood in that moment was that Kendrick had already decided this was war. Not a battle, not a rap beef where 2 guys trade bars for clout. An actual war where he intended to bury somebody's legacy in broad daylight. Drake came back. Of course Drake came back. In April 2024, he dropped Push-Ups, calling Kendrick short, questioning his pen, talking his talk like always. Then Drake went even further and dropped Tailor-Made Freestyle. And this is where he made his first real mistake. He used AI-generated verses from Tupac Shakur and Snoop Dogg to body Kendrick. The Tupac estate came out immediately and threatened to sue. They said, and I'm paraphrasing that, using Tupac's voice against Kendrick Lamar, somebody who had given nothing but respect to Tupac's legacy, compounded the disrespect. Drake had to pull the song down within days. Before the real battle even started, he'd already made an error you can't walk back. April 30th, 2024, Kendrick Lamar drops Euphoria. 6 minutes and 13 seconds of Kendrick rapping like a man who has been waiting years to say something. He didn't come with a hook. Didn't come with a melody. He just rapped. Dissected Drake's persona, his culture vulture image, his relationship with black culture as a mixed kid from Toronto who built a career performing blackness for mainstream consumption. The internet lost its mind. But Kendrick wasn't done. May 3rd, 2024, 6016 in LA drops. Another disc. Kendrick was rolling now, fam, and Drake, to his credit, came back hard. Same day Drake dropped Family Matters, 11 minutes long. He accused Kendrick of domestic abuse. He claimed Kendrick's creative partner Dave Free had biologically fathered one of Kendrick's children. He came at everything: the personal life, the image, the credibility. It was the kind of record that, if the allegations landed and stuck, would have been career-ending. 20 minutes later, 20 minutes, Kendrick dropped Meet the Grams. That's when everybody understood this was different. Kendrick had already written his response before Family Matters even dropped. He had anticipated every punch. And Meet the Grams was addressed, and this is the crazy part, not to Drake, but to Drake's parents. Written like a letter to his family, accusing Drake of sex trafficking, raising the existence of a second secret child Drake had allegedly hidden from the public. Pusha T had already exposed the first secret son, Adonis, back in 2018. Kendrick was saying there was another one. And then May 4th, 2024 arrived, Not Like Us. Certified lover boy, certified pedophile. That one line, y'all already know it. But the whole song was a weapon. 4 minutes of Kendrick rapping over a DJ Mustard beat so infectious, so undeniably a banger, that even people who had never paid attention to rap beef were streaming it. It had a melody. It had a chant. It had a damn near festival energy to it. Drake had spent years building his brand as the most commercially dominant rapper alive. The guy who made the pop crossovers, the guy who made the meme records, the guy who turned street music into top 40 radio. And Kendrick beat him at his own game. He made a diss track that was more fun, more catchy, more quotable, and more radio play friendly than anything Drake had released in the same season. Drake tried to respond one more time. May 5th, 2024, The Heart, Part 6. He denied the accusations. He claimed his team had fed Kendrick false information about the second secret child as a trap, and Kendrick had fallen for it. The internet was divided for maybe 48 hours. Then Kendrick performed Not Like Us at the Pop Out, his own concert at the Kia Forum in Compton, and did it 6 times in one night. 6 times. LeBron James was in the crowd. The whole city of Los Angeles was in that arena. And just like that, the verdict was in. Drake had lost. The streets knew it. The culture knew it. At the 67th Annual Grammy Awards in February 2025, Not Like Us won every single category it was nominated for. Record of the Year, Song of the Year, Best Rap Performance, Best Rap Song, Best Music Video, 5 for 5.
And
a diss track, the Grammy goes to Kendrick Lamar. And then, 2 weeks after the Grammys, Kendrick took the Super Bowl stage, Super Bowl 59, the biggest audience a halftime show has ever seen, and he performed Not Like Us. The crowd chanted the certified pedophile lyrics so loud that it was audible on broadcast television, even though the word was censored. Serena Williams, a woman Drake was publicly rumored to have dated, appeared as a dancer on that stage at the Super Bowl. As one music journalist from Complex put it, and I'm paraphrasing, the loss Drake took from Kendrick Lamar on the national and global stage is probably the biggest public loss any rapper has ever taken in a rap conflict. Period. That's the situation Drake was coming into when he made ICEMAN. Between that Super Bowl in February 2025 and the ICEMAN drop in May 2026, Drake stayed relatively quiet on record. He dropped a collab project with Party Next Door on Valentine's Day 2025 called Some Sexy Songs for You. But that wasn't the one. That was Drake retreating into his zone. January 2025, there was a leaked freestyle called Fighting Irish Freestyle, where he addressed the feud and seemed to come at LeBron and UMG, but it was low energy. Hip Hop DX called it empty tough talk. Nobody really moved. Then in January 2025, Drake did something that told you everything about his mindset coming out of the beef. He filed a defamation lawsuit against Universal Music Group, his own label, for the way they promoted Not Like Us. He wasn't suing Kendrick, he was suing the machine. His argument was that UMG had actively pushed a song that falsely accused him of being a pedophile, that label CEO Lucian Grange had publicly celebrated the Grammy win for a track slandering his client, and that all of it was a pressure tactic to leverage contract negotiations. Here's the real tea though, that lawsuit got dismissed in October 2025. Drake's still appealing, but legally he's 0 for 1 on that front. So going into 2026, Drake had one move left. Drop the best music of his life and remind everybody who the hell he was before all of this started. That's what ICEMAN was supposed to be. The rollout was big. I'll give him that. He did a 4-episode YouTube live stream series building up to the release. Episode 4 was where he previewed lyrics, burned down what appeared to be a bot farm on camera, referencing allegations that Kendrick's streaming numbers for Not Like Us were artificially inflated, and teased bars that the internet immediately decoded as shots at K. Dot. Then he revealed at the end of the stream that he wasn't dropping 1 album, he was dropping 3, all at midnight. 43 songs: ICEMAN, Maid of Honor, and Habibi. He hijacked the CN Tower in Toronto, lit it up, made it a whole event. And before the album was even officially dropped, a leaked song called 1000 AM in Albany, a continuation of his timestamp series, surfaced online. On it, Drake dissed Kendrick's height, comparing him to Muggsy Bogues. He came at LeBron. He came at Dr. Dre. The whole thing was Drake in wartime mode, talking his business to anyone who was listening. The stage was set. The whole culture was locked in. And then, ICEMAN dropped. Now let me break down exactly what Drake said about Kendrick on ICEMAN, because fam, he spread the disses across multiple songs and you gotta see all of it laid out to understand what angle Drake was really coming from. Damn, who is this guy for real? I guess a magician. 100 million strings vanished. No one got questions for Noob. The magician line is about the streaming allegations Drake raised in his UMG lawsuit. The idea that Not Like Us had artificially inflated numbers. And now after the lawsuit was dismissed and the moment passed, those streams supposedly declined without anybody pressing Kendrick on it. Drake's trying to plant a seed of doubt about whether Kendrick's victory was even real on a numbers level. Same song. Now they got a new GOAT, and we gotta test the position. That's a direct callback to Kendrick's Like That line. Drake saying, okay, you want the throne? Come defend it. What was the year you said you had slaps? Cause I don't remember it going like that. I don't remember one word of your raps. This one's petty, and that's clearly the point. He's calling Kendrick musically irrelevant outside of the beef. Like the diss tracks are all he has, and the actual body of work doesn't hold up, coming from the man who lost the Grammy to one of those diss tracks. This line was always going to get laughed out of the room, but Drake said it anyway. Muggsy Bogues dunked for once. Even I'm a bit amazed. Someone give the kid a raise. Muggsy Bogues is famously the shortest player in NBA history. Drake is calling Kendrick short and acting impressed that someone as small as K. Dot even managed to land a hit. And look, Drake is going to the height well before. Push-ups in 2024 had the same energy. The fact that he's still reaching for that same bar 2 years later tells you something. White kids listen to you because they feel some guilt. And that's how your soul gets fulfilled. Handing out turkeys on camera inside of your hood. Then you go back to the hills. This is the most calculated bar on the whole project. Drake is attacking the authenticity of Kendrick's activism and community image, saying his fan base is mostly guilty white liberals, not the black community he claims to represent, and that his charity work is performative clout rather than real love for Compton. That's a calculated bar aimed at the foundation of what makes Kendrick Kendrick. His credibility, his identity as a voice for the culture. But here's where it gets crazy. Drake saying Kendrick's base is mostly white guilty liberals is arguably true. But coming from Drake, the mixed-race Canadian rapper who built his entire early brand on performing black Southern culture, it doesn't land the way he wants it to. The internet clocked that immediately. You can't be the certified culture vulture and critique somebody else for their demographics, fam. That don't math. The owl never sees the cage. The owl only wakes up to seize the day. In Kendrick's Not Like Us video, there was a caged owl, a direct visual metaphor for Drake being trapped, defeated. Drake is flipping that imagery back, trying to reclaim the owl as a symbol of freedom and dominance. It's clever on paper, but the problem is it just reminds everybody of the original video and everything Kendrick did with it. I'm fighting the man, not suing the rapper. That's from B's on the Table. Drake addressing the lawsuit criticism. A lot of people said filing against UMG instead of Kendrick directly was a soft move, a legal maneuver instead of a hip-hop response. Drake is saying he's going after the institution, not the artist. Whether you believe that reframing or not is on you. On Too Hard and a few others, Drake uses a West Coast sound and beat and tells Kendrick that people in Oakland love him too, like he's trying to destabilize Kendrick's regional home turf allegiance. Then he comes at Mustard specifically. Mustard heard about us, got to catch up to the slaps. You ain't had one since me and G rapped. This is Drake essentially saying Kendrick's DJ, his collaborator, the man who made Not Like Us into an undeniable record, hasn't had a hit since the Drake era. Sending shots through the whole camp, so now you've heard all of it laid out. Every bar Drake threw at Kendrick Lamar across 3 albums and 43 songs. And the question the culture is asking right now, the question everybody from DJ academics to Joe Budden to every barbershop from Compton to Toronto is debating is, did it work? Real recognize real, fam. And real talk, the general consensus forming on the internet is that Drake rapped well, better than he's rapped in years. The ICEMAN tracks are technically impressive. Bars are tighter, delivery is sharper. He sounds motivated. As a rap performance, strong showing. But here's the thing about this specific battlefield, is not just about rapping well. It's about narrative. And the narrative Drake is fighting right now is so deep in Kendrick's favor that even good bars can't fully dig him out. Think about the timeline. Drake comes out after 2 years, drops 43 songs, and a huge chunk of his main album is still overwhelmingly about Kendrick Lamar. About what Kendrick did to him, about streams that vanished, bots, the lawsuit, the owl, the hype, GNX, the West Coast, the conscious rap image. Every single one of those bars is a reference back to the beef that Drake publicly lost. When you're the one who won, you stop talking about the fight. When you're the one who's still wounded, you keep bringing it up. And that's what the streets are saying. Kendrick hasn't posted, hasn't responded, hasn't acknowledged ICEMAN in any official capacity. Before the album dropped, his music videos for Not Like Us and Luther briefly disappeared from YouTube, vanished for a few hours, and then came back. The internet went crazy trying to decode if that was a move or a glitch. People started posting that Kendrick was dropping a counter project called Fireman. The hype was real for a hot minute until the whole Fireman rumor got debunked as a complete hoax. But even the fact that a rumor like that went viral tells you something. The culture's anticipation for Kendrick to respond is so high that people are inventing the response before it happens. That's power. That's leverage. Kendrick hasn't said a word, and he's already got Drake's whole camp on edge, wondering when the retaliation comes. Here's what people keep sleeping on when they look at this situation like it's just about who drops the better diss track. Kendrick Lamar's response to Drake dissing him on ICEMAN is not coming. At least not in the way Drake needs it to come. And here's why: pay attention, because this is the most important part of this whole breakdown. Kendrick already won, and the win was so complete that responding to ICEMAN with the diss track would actually diminish what he achieved. Think about what the man did. He won 5 Grammys. He performed at the Super Bowl. He dropped GNX, an album that didn't even mention Drake by name, that didn't need to. That was purely Kendrick flexing his artistry and his legacy in the post-beef era. And then he went on a massive world tour, all while Drake was posting lawsuits and live streams and teasing albums. Kendrick's strategy from the beginning of 2025 forward has been to act like the chapter is closed. And that's the most devastating thing he could do to Drake's narrative, because ICEMAN needs Kendrick to respond to be relevant in the way Drake wants it to be relevant. If Kendrick drops a response record, it means the beef is ongoing. It means Drake gets another round, another opportunity, another chance to be in the same conversation as K. Dot. If Kendrick says nothing, Drake is talking to himself. Drake is the man standing in the arena shouting at someone who already left the building. Post-beef, Not Like Us became one of the most streamed rap songs in Spotify history. GNX debuted at #1. His tour sold out arenas worldwide. The culture validated him as the best rapper alive, not through debate, but through commercial dominance, critical acclaim, and institutional recognition, all arriving at the same time in a wave simultaneously. And now Drake drops ICEMAN. His comeback, his statement, his attempt at reclaiming the narrative. And the biggest talking point off the album is still about Kendrick, not Drake's new music, not Drake's new era. The conversation, even coming out of Drake's own album release, keeps circling back to how Drake feels about what Kendrick did to him. That's not winning the narrative. That's the narrative winning you. Drake is talented. I'm not gonna sit here and disrespect the body of work this man built. Take care. Nothing was the same. If you're reading this, it's too late. Views. The run from 2010 to 2018, undeniable. Historic. Top 10 albums of a generation type legacy. And even ICEMAN has moments where you hear that Drake, the one who was the best in the world at what he did. But here's the uncomfortable truth that the whole culture is sitting with right now. The bars about Kendrick's hype. Drake's been saying that since push-ups in 2024. The streaming bot allegations, the lawsuit got dismissed, and those claims never got proven in court. The conscious rap audience critique coming from Drake specifically, it doesn't land. And the owl reference, that's Kendrick's image. Kendrick planted that in the culture. Drake referencing it just keeps it alive. Every bar Drake threw at Kendrick on ICEMAN. Kendrick has already answered, not with the response track, but with actions. The Grammys answered the "nobody asks about your raps" line before Drake even rapped it. The Super Bowl performance answered the question of whether Kendrick's music has cultural impact. The GNX album answered whether Kendrick could move past the beef and still make great music. The world tour is answering the question of whether people are buying what Kendrick's selling. So when Drake says 100 million streams vanished, no one got questions. The actual answer is that 5 Grammy wins and a Super Bowl performance exist. When Drake says, "I don't remember one word of your raps," the actual answer is that 120 million people watched those raps perform live on the biggest stage in American entertainment. You can't diss facts with bars, fam. That's not how this works. Here's the real talk. If Kendrick responds to ICEMAN, if he actually drops a record addressing Drake's disses directly, then 2 things happen. 1, the beef continues on Drake's terms, giving ICEMAN retroactive relevance it doesn't currently have on its own. 2, Kendrick has to top Not Like Us, Euphoria, and Meet the Grams all at once. That bar exists. He said it himself. Anything less than that level of destruction gets read as him falling off. But if Kendrick stays silent, Drake has to live with the fact that his most hyped album in years, his great comeback, his "I'm loading" rebuttals moment generated less cultural conversation than Kendrick's absence did. The Fireman Rumor, a completely made-up counter album, got more internet buzz than half the actual ICEMAN track list combined. That's a problem. And I think, and this is my read on it, keep it 100, Kendrick's response is already happening. Not in the form of a diss track, in the form of silence, in the form of not acknowledging it, in the form of the culture watching Drake reference him 17 different ways across his comeback album, while Kendrick is somewhere on tour or in the studio doing exactly what he said he was going to do when he performed at the Super Bowl. Move culture forward. The last thing Kendrick said publicly about Drake before ICEMAN dropped was on waxed out murals from GNX, and even that wasn't direct. He was talking about his place in history, his legacy, what the beef revealed about the culture, not about Drake personally, not about revenge, about purpose. That's a man who already closed the chapter and turned the page. And Drake just wrote another letter to someone who's done reading the mail. Y'all tell me in the comments, do you think Kendrick responds to ICEMAN, or does he stay silent and let the culture do the talking for him? Is Drake's approach on this album the right one, or is he digging deeper into a hole he can't climb out of? The conversation is not over, not by a long shot. The streets are watching, Kendrick is watching, and the longer he waits, the louder that silence gets. That's what's really going on. No cap. If you ain't subscribed yet, fam, now is the time. Because this story is just getting started. ICEMAN just dropped yesterday. We're still in the first 48 hours of this thing. The response, when it comes, and I promise you something is coming, we're gonna be here to break it all down. First, like the video, subscribe, drop your take in the comments. And until next time, stay locked.